Hey
We'll see.
guys, thanks for checking out the channel. It's Chris with EXP Educators. Today, I have the absolute privilege of talking with Elizabeth Riley. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. I could tell you a lot about Elizabeth. There are so many things. She was at EXP very early, one of the forerunners of the company, leading the charge. Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about your story, and I don't want to butcher it, to be honest with you.
So you just cut out for a second. Tell me, you want me to tell you kind of my backstory or my story to EXP, or what's best for you today, this morning?
Let's hear your story in real estate, kind of your journey on how you got here today.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I've been in real estate a little over 16 years, and got started in Atlanta, Georgia. My husband and I were investors, and so my CPA told me, you need to get your license. And so I never had this desire to be a real estate agent. That was never part of my plan. I just thought, okay, well, this is what I will do because my CPA says I need to do this. I had no intentions of doing anything full-time, just the bare minimums. But what I realized quickly is I love this industry, and I love connecting people. I love, trying to help them find solutions, and just the whole process of real estate, and became one of the top agents in my market center in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. And then in 2008, many of us that were in the business remember what 2008 was like.
Great time.
Great time. In 2008, my husband was transferred to Austin, Texas. So I decided to get my license here in Texas. Everybody thought I was crazy. And they said, why? The market's horrible. And for me, I saw it a little bit differently. I saw it as opportunity, right? Because I came from Atlanta, Georgia, where the market really burst. And I was doing a lot of foreclosures and short sales. And Austin's market was a little bit better. And so for me, I was like, well, this is a better market. And I built my business here just by referrals, just by people that I knew or that I met, because I didn't really know anybody yet. And then just building my sphere of influence here. And so I got started in 2008 with the same company that I was in Atlanta, and then built my business and became one of the top agents in Austin. And then in 2014, I was the #1 agent in my company. And I realized I was burned out. I wasn't having fun anymore. It was a job to me. And it wasn't fulfilling my soul like helping people all those years. And so I knew I had to make a change. And so my Atlanta tribe all had gone to this little tiny company called EXP Realty. And at the time, my market center had 650 agents in Austin, right? Just my one office. Well, EXP at the time had 400 agents nationally, right? So, I was just like, well, but it really wasn't about that. It really wasn't about the size or the numbers. It really was about the relationships that I had, and that I wanted to be able to work again with my colleagues and people that I really respected. And they asked me if I would meet with somebody. And I said, sure, I'll meet with anybody. And Glenn Sanford, who's the founder of EXP, came into town, and I met with Glenn. And, he's telling me everything he's doing, which was so different than the other models. And he's showing me, and he's talking about, stock for agents. And, I always joke that my old company, I got a baseball cap every single year that said capper, right? And that's not going to, that's nice, but that's not going to pay your mortgage or your college funds for your kids or anything really. So he started talking about stock for top producers and stock for just doing transactions and being an owner of the company. And think differently when you're an owner. But really for me, it's people join people. And I really like Glenn. He was a very humble, knowledgeable visionary. I'd never met anybody quite like him. And it really wasn't about not having that many people in the company or having brand recognition. Nobody had any idea who EXP was at that time. And I said, let's do this. And so I always talk about seeking wise counsel. And I went to my old team leader who was retired. And I said, tell me I'm crazy, right? I'm at the top of my game. Just tell me that this is nuts for me to make this big change and poke holes in this model, because I don't know what I don't know, right? I'd only been with one company for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really have anything to compare it to. My old team leader had owned market centers, had owned regions, had owned different real estate companies. And I said, tell me what I'm missing. And so we started looking at the model and exploring it for about 5 months. And he told me, he's like, you know what, this is pretty exciting what they're doing. Let's do this. And that was Gene Frederick. And so Gene and I made the decision in fall of 2014 that we were going to do this, and we had to kind of put all the steps in place. And in April of 2015, we both came to EXP, and I was agent 466. And today we have 70,000 agents in 6.5 years. So it's been an incredible real estate ride.
Yeah.
But more than anything, my business completely changed. I've more than tripled my business from being at this company. And what's really awesome about real estate is there's so many different ways to get business. There's so many different ways to be, successful. And we're so entrepreneurial that instead of saying, no, this is the only way you can do real estate, it's encouraging and it's supportive of new ideas and creative ideas, and collaborating with other agents around the country to expand on those ideas. And so, sitting here today, I'm finishing out my best year in real estate ever. Last year was my best year. And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna surpass that. And I am, and I'm having more fun than I've ever had before. Whereas, when I was number one at my old company, I was ready to quit and get out of the business. And, here I am, and I'm having so much fun. The relationships that I've met, not only in my own market, but around the globe, right? Now that we're global, are definitely precious to me. And I'm just having so much fun doing the real estate thing and being a top producer and serving my clients and my community at a very high level.
Well, yeah. So, I got a few of those same hats, if I'm not mistaken. It may be a different color, but I do remember what they said. And I get the burnout part. And so you're at the top of your game, all's going well, and you decide to make a move to a kind of a tiny company at the time.
Yeah.
What would kind of tell me a little bit, because you guys were back in the garage for all intents and purposes, you and Gene and the whole gang. What was your kind of belief and mindset? And I'm sure people were just like, how can you leave this fantastic market center with, you're at the mothership and the homeland and all the above, and you're at the top of the game, and you're going to this little tiny that I've never even heard of company. What was your belief and mindset at that juncture?
Well, kind of like my same mindset when I moved from Atlanta to Austin, where everybody thought I was crazy for getting in the business. I saw it as opportunity, right? Stefan Swanepoel, if for those that don't know who he is, for me, he's real estate royalty, right? He's a trends expert in all things real estate. And I like the fact that he's broker blind, meaning he's not associated with any one brokerage. And so he is always sitting and discussing and teaching on the trends in real estate, from the NAR stage, from Remax and Keller Williams and whoever the big players are. They all look to Stefan Swanepoel and his company T3 for those trends. Well, Stefan Swanepoel he writes a trends report every year, and he had just written one talking about the different models and brokerages. And again, not one's better than the other. They're just all different. And every model is going to speak to you in a different way, right?
Right.
And one of the things he wrote was, the one to watch is EXP Realty. They're the Amazon.com of real estate. And for me, that was kind of a light bulb. I was like, what if I had known about Amazon way back when? What if we had all known about Amazon? You remember when people were like, they're going to sell books online? Are they nuts? Right. And then now,
crazy.
Right, exactly. I mean, we're all like, oh my goodness, I should have done something. It was kind of the same thing for me. We're being compared to an Amazon.com of real estate. What if? What if this little company does something pretty extraordinary. How amazing would that be? And I'm not talking financially, like financially is fine, but what an experience to be a part of that, right?
Oh yeah.
But what if it doesn't? And then you always have that doubting moment, like, well, what if it doesn't? And I thought to myself, well, if it doesn't, I can go back to my old company. I can go to any company.
Yeah.
And everybody's recruiting all the time. They want great agents. They want producers. I could start my own brokerage. There were so many other options. So for me, it wasn't really a win-win. It wasn't a win-fail situation. It was opportunity. So I saw it as opportunity. And I'm the type of personality that I'll jump and then I figure it out, right? I mean, some people sit back and overanalyze or analyze, and that's just not me. I just jump. And for me, it was the people. I believed in the people. I believed in Glenn. I believed in Jason Guessing. I believed in Gene. I was so excited that everybody was so excited, right? Alex Howland, who created Verbella. I mean, these people were so real and authentic, and I'm a very relational person. Relationships drive me, right? And so to be able to collaborate with these people that I truly believed in, they believed in me, I didn't really care what everybody else was saying. We had a lot of people saying we were crazy. And a lot of people came out of the woodworks and said, why would Elizabeth Riley leave this company to go to this company? And I was like, well, I'll tell you why. These are the reasons why. Well, it's not proven. No, it's not proven, but how much fun will this be along the way? And so to say we were in the garage, kind of, I mean, I think of Glenn being in the garage so many years before that and creating this company on Trello and on napkins and things like that, and coming up with these ideas, right? To make a company built by agents for agents. I mean, just that right there is powerful, because that's not how real estate's been done. You know, real estate agents are the worker bees, and there's really no way for us to get ahead. So for me, I didn't see it as a bad idea. I saw it as opportunity. And I was having so much fun, and I didn't really care what people thought. It made me a better real estate agent. It made me a better person. It made me a better leader. So for me, it was a win-win. And I really focus on what I'm doing and what's best for what I need to do to meet whatever goals and reach my clients and help them. And I was collaborating with some of the top minds in the country, and yeah, I mean, how can you say no to that? It was really, really exciting, but we were putting the tracks in front of the train. I mean, as fast as we were growing, we were putting it in front of the train and just hoping and praying and crossing our fingers. It's funny because I heard Glenn speak at an event, and somebody had asked him the question, when did you know EXP was going to make it? And he said, well, in 2018. And all of a sudden I was like, what, 2018? I was convinced we were going to make it well before that. So I'm glad he had his poker face, because we were just, you know, we were all just building and growing together.
Yeah, well, that was certainly an exciting time, and still exciting today. You can hear it in your voice. So tell us a little bit about how things have changed for you and your family since you made the leap, you made the jump. You said, I'm in. And how has it changed really now, 5 years, in the last 5 years or so?
Yeah,
so 6 years. Sorry.
Yes, it'll be 7 years in May. So 6.5 years I've been at the company, and it's flown by, but it doesn't seem like that long. You know, it was kind of it's a blink. And when you're having fun and you're loving what you're doing, it flies by. So it has changed my life tremendously in so many ways. Relationally, some of my best friends are at this company. People that I've just met in the last couple of years that I would have thought, or you would have thought, when people meet us, they think we've known each other all of our lives, right? I mean, true relationships. And for me, that's just golden. That's precious. And not only in my market, I realized how small Austin is, right? And I realized how competitive this business is. I always say comparison kills joy, just because I stay in my lane. If I'm going to be comparing myself to other agents, then it gets me distracted. That's just who I am.
Sure.
And so, but I realized when I finally looked up how competitive our market is, and real estate in general, that it's not really collaborative. And so when you change that mindset, and when you're an owner, your whole mindset and your whole approach is completely new and unique, right? And you act different, you talk different, you use different words, you approach business differently.
Oh, sure.
So that part's been huge for me, just the relationships, because I didn't realize I was missing that, but I was missing a little bit of that in my world. Financially, it's crazy. I don't even know how to describe it. Going from baseball caps to stock awards changed the world, right?
Yeah.
When I joined the company, the stock was around 60 cents.
Wow.
And for me,
Wow.
I'm still in production, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, this is my biggest year. Right now I'm set to close about 68 transactions this year, which last year I did 70 something, but my price points went up this year. So my volume is a lot higher, which is awesome. For me, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And normally you get a plaque or what have you. Well, being a top producer, when we do our first transaction and receiving stock, I didn't understand the impact of stock. Again, stock was 60 cents when I joined, but the Icon Award that we have for top producers I just last week hit my 7th, right?
Wow.
So each year I received my cap back in stock. Well, as we've grown, and even last year when it went up and went up and went up and split, right? Financially, that changes, just changes how you approach each day and how you approach business. I'm no longer on the hamster wheel, just trying to do each transaction. Not all business is good business. So I'm able to say no a lot more because of that. So the stock awards have been amazing for my family. I paid off most of everything that we had. I have I have 4 kids, so all their college funds are already set. My oldest is 15. My youngest is 8.
Wow.
Right. So to have that peace of mind and be excited about that they can choose whatever college they want to go to when the time comes. We just have a lot of fun. We're able to invest in memories. We're able to invest in trips and things that are important to our family that we weren't necessarily able to before. And my biggest thing for me, everybody has their own why. They have their own reason why they grind like they do. And for me, one of my 10-year-old's very, very dyslexic. And I tell this story a lot because everybody's why is different. Somebody might want a new car. Somebody might want a new house or a boat or what have you. For me, I wanted a different opportunity for my 10-year-old. When he was 7, he had gastritis. He stopped eating. He just withdrew from everything, and he was in 2nd grade. And he's like my mayor. He's my big personality. And we found out he was severely dyslexic. And there was a school in Austin that's one of the top dyslexic schools in the nation. It's one of those things you don't know about it until you need it, right?
Right.
But it's also very, very expensive. It's like a Harvard or an Ivy League education for elementary school moving up. But because of EXP, I was able to put my son in that school, and he's been there for the last 3 years and thriving. And he tells everybody he's the smartest Riley. So that changed our family dynamic, right? I got my son back. So if nothing more, that I'm eternally grateful to EXP because they made that happen. So everybody's story is a little bit different. Everybody's why is going to be a little bit different. And just like you can get business and create business in so many different ways in this industry, people can also address their whys in different ways because of this company and the opportunities it provides.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite a moving story, to be honest with you. Wow. I'm almost stuck in my tracks here.
No, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah. So obviously things have went well. They're going well. What is it that you're still in production and you keep doing each year? It gets better and better, which is awesome on top of itself. But what really drives Elizabeth today? What is it that says we're getting out of bed? What's the gas in the engine, for lack of a better term?
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be in this industry. I'm grateful to be able to do what I do. I have the flexibility to be a mom, right? I mean, I don't miss my kids' things. I'm very, very involved. I have a ton of time freedom and financial freedom that I never had before. And so I feel like I have a responsibility to be a good steward with that freedom, right? And so what drives me is helping people. I want to lift others as I climb.
Mm-hmm.
Very lonely at the top in whatever you do, right?
Sure.
And I think sometimes people get to the top and they're like, okay, I made it, whatever, but who did you help on the way? Who's alongside you? So for me, I want to help other people reach their goals and their dreams. And everybody's going to be different. I was talking to somebody the other day and she said, well, my goal next year is to do 12 transactions in the year. So one a month. I'm like, awesome. Let's figure out how to get you there.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't have to be, they don't have to be aligned with what you're doing, but you can still help each other grow and build. And so for me, what drives me is the fact that we've been given an amazing opportunity in this company. You're an owner, I'm an owner. As owners, we can help change people's lives.
Yeah.
And there's never been really a real estate company. I mean, maybe you have. Have you ever talked to anybody in real estate that can say, well, this company changed my life? I just don't.
Typically not in a positive direction.
Right. And so I just think that we have an opportunity to share this amazing experience in this amazing company. And so that's what drives me. It's just, I mean, today we're hosting a business planning class, and I'm going to probably have about 75 agents there. Well, I'm not paid to do this. In fact, I pay money like to reserve rooms and things like that to get people together, because I love community. I love collaboration. I love helping be a part of our culture. Right. And so I'm super excited that I get to go in front of all these agents and we all get to help and brainstorm and build each other up. So that's what drives me. Financial doesn't drive me anymore. I don't know that it ever did. That was never my, financial, obviously you want to have that financial freedom, but I wasn't ever one of those people that said, okay, I'm going to make X amount of money. I don't set goals like that for me.
Yeah.
But I just think that's what drives me. If we're all winning, I mean, the world is a better place. And if we're all doing well financially, then we can contribute and participate and make our communities a better place, make our schools a better place, right? So Glenn talked about at our EXPCon event last year, he talked about pain versus purpose. And that was powerful for me, because once you get out of the pain, once you get out that hamster wheel, right? Once you get a little bit of that time freedom or financial freedom or whatever you're looking for and need in your life, then what's your purpose?
Yeah.
And your purpose can be so much bigger than yourself. And that's what I'm excited about. So same thing with my husband. My husband was Dell Computer for 25 years. May of this year, earlier this year, he was global. So with the pandemic, you're not doing a whole lot globally, right? But he would sit in his office day in and day out, and I could just see that spark leaving him, And I said, why are we doing this? He's like, well, because this is what I do. I've been here for 25 years. I was like, yeah, just because we've done that always one way, why do we have to do that now? Our kids are still young. We're missing out on this opportunity to really be present. Yeah. And he said, well, and this is what he told me. He goes, well, I have all the benefits. I said, well, that's a great thing. Our company has healthcare. And he's like, really? So I said, what if I retired you? Would that be weird? He said, yeah, that would be weird. And I said, well, okay. And then a couple of days later, he goes, what do you mean by that? I said, well, if you were retired, then you'd have the freedom, the time freedom to be able to do what you want to do and find your purpose. Because he hears me talking about Glenn's speech all the time, pain versus purpose. And so I retired him in May of this year. And It's been amazing, right? He's more present with our kids. He's more involved with our kids. I'm actually gone more than he is now, because I go around speaking and doing events and things like that. So it's just really the dynamic. I think the last year and a half, 2 years has been really hard for people. And whatever you can do to bring everybody together and create that community, that's what drives me. Wow. That's just fantastic. It would be weird for somebody to say, can I retire you? Because how do you do that? What does that look like? Well, especially women. I mean, the reality is there's not many women that retire their husbands, right? And so I was concerned about, my husband doesn't have an ego, which that's great, but I was concerned about how he would feel mentally, what would he do? But, I was like, you've worked really hard for 25 years, write it down. What are your goals? What are your passions? So, he's really involved with my son's football team, and he's, awesome. Involved in they're looking for a new coach and interviewing new coaches. And I mean, there's all these cool things that he's doing that he wouldn't have been able to do in his corporate world.
Yeah, grinding it away. Well, I do have kind of an EXP question here for you. If you had an agent sitting down, we were sitting down or doing a Zoom and talking to them, and they were skeptical about EXP, even though the evidence is overwhelmingly supportive. There's always the skeptic out there, and they were like, well, I'm kind of skeptical about this. I don't know. What might you say to them if we were just sitting there having a conversation?
So the interesting thing about an EXP is people think they know what we're about, right? They hear different things, they just jump to conclusions, and quite frankly, it's human nature. We all do that.
Sure.
I went to Texas A&M, and we had a saying there, because A&M is very rich in tradition. And
yes, they are.
Right? Okay.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yes. So, and I adore my school, but we had a saying there: from the outside looking in, you can't understand it, and from the inside looking out, you can't explain it. And that's the key.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say to somebody, first of all, I ask a lot of questions, because you can have 5 people in front of you. It's just like a listing, right? You can have 5 sellers in front of you, and they all have different motivations and different reasons and different questions and different concerns, right? So it's the same thing. Ask a lot of questions. I just ask a lot of questions. I find the pebble in their shoe. I figure out, okay, what are you missing? How could we make it better? A lot of people are like, I'm happy at my brokerage. I love my brokerage. And I let them know, awesome, because we like to be in business with happy people. Right? But what I would tell them is ask, do your due diligence. If you're going to say no, just make sure you know what you're saying no to. But I think a lot of times agents talk too much, and they like to tell their story, right? So if I sat in front of an agent telling my story, well, that might not resonate with them. I want to know their story. I want to get to know them. I build a relationship with them, but I would tell them to check out some of our classes, come be our guest, come to some of our trainings, talk to a number of agents. I get people on Zoom all the time, just asking questions and sharing different perspectives around the country. So people that are very entrepreneurial understand what we're doing, or maybe they don't, but they're excited about what we're doing. So if there's somebody that's skeptical, I would just encourage them to stay in curiosity, keep asking questions, keep digging a little bit, make sure you understand what we're really about, because the reality is, until you're in our company and you experience our culture, you truly aren't going to understand, and that's okay. But we are changing lives. They would be an owner. And what I realized is I was being more loyal to my broker than I was to my family. And when I realized my broker, I was supporting my broker, which was fine. I'm super loyal. I was supporting my broker. I was supporting the cost associated with that market center. I was my grinding every single day was helping the company get further along, but it wasn't helping my family get further along. And at some point when you realize, okay, who are you being more loyal to? It's kind of eye-opening. And being an owner of this company, it just will change your life in so many ways, whether you're getting stock for doing your first transaction every year, right? Something as simple as that is already making a big difference from the other models, because they don't have ownership in that. So just really, I would just say, ask the questions, understand what's important to that person you're talking to, and have a conversation with them, and see if we're a fit, because we're not a fit for everybody, and not everybody's a fit for us. And if nothing else, at least you have a new relationship in the business. Yeah,
which is never a bad thing. Thing. And I know you're super busy. I want to respect your time. Any final thoughts before we get out of here today?
I just love this. I love being able to visit with agents around the country and get to know. I mean, I would have never known you if it weren't for this company, right? I mean, I'm in Texas. Why would we have ever crossed paths? We wouldn't have. And so I would encourage people to, like I said, stay in curiosity. See 22, or I always say 2222. I live off a road called 2222. So that's going to mess me up all next year. But 2022 could be your best year ever. Yeah. And what would that look like with, passive income opportunities that you might not have received this year? How could your life look different? How could your business look better? How could your family, experience that a little bit differently? And so it's just relationships for me. And I love doing this, and I love visiting with people and getting to know people on a bigger scale, and helping all of us win by growing this company. I mean, we're 70,000 agents by the end of this year, easy. I don't know if you know, but we're adding about 1,000 agents a week right now. And because they're realizing what we're doing. And a lot of the people that I've talked to, they always say, I should have come, or I should have listened, or I, wish I would have come 2 or 3 years ago. And to that, I just say, the timing wasn't right. Right? Don't shoulda, coulda, woulda. I started hearing about this company when the stock was 10 cents, right? I could, but just the reason you're here now, the reason you're asking questions now, it's the right timing. So I just tell people to have a lot of grace. We've had a hard 2 years. Everybody, if you think about it, Chris, everybody stopped. The world stopped, right? My husband was stopped. He was here. Everybody kind of had their own grieving period, if you will. Yeah. But real estate never stopped. So real estate continued. In fact, in my market, I'm sure it was everywhere, but we went crazy. Our market was so stressful. So we never, as agents, really never had that time to stop and digest what was going on. No. Right. And we not only took on our own stresses, our family's stresses. Now we're trying to homeschool. Now we're trying, our kids' stresses, but we took on our client stresses as well. So I just encourage everybody to have some grace. It was a hard couple of years. 2022 is going to be great. Yeah. And I think, why not consider some pretty awesome opportunities that could change your life?
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic. Elizabeth, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time today. You are just a gem. I couldn't be happier to be part of your organization and in business with you guys. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. You are just the best of the best. Guys, as you heard from Elizabeth, it just EXP is just, there's so many different ways. We encourage you to check it out. We really do. Click the link below. As we like to say, if you knew what EXP could do for you, you'd be here already. Elizabeth, thank you, and go have an awesome, awesome week and a great holiday.
You too.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
You're welcome.
See you soon.